Welcome to Sequel Week. What up, viewers? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, October 21st, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week, video game news. Like I said, it's Sequel Week. There is quite a lot of games that launched this week, so without further ado, let's jump into it. First off, we have the Mario Goes to XCOM, or Mario Does XCOM, with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles, something like that. Kingdom something. I forgot what the first one was called. I really enjoyed the first one. The first one got an 85 Metacritic, and Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope is at an 86 Metacritic. So the critics like it just a little bit better this time, but it's about the same level as the last one. I've been kind of holding off reservations for it because I liked the grid-based system, and that's kind of the XCOM feel that I like the grid-based system. That's kind of what I got into. It's what I kind of wanted from a Mario doing XCOM game. But this one being a little bit looser, maybe that's not the way they improve. Maybe they improve with a better storyline, or maybe a little bit more fun, or tighter puzzles. Some of the heuristics for solving some of the fights were pretty simple, so hopefully they kind of improve on that. And we always need more characters, so I'd love to see who gets Rabbidized and who doesn't. But I'm looking forward to Mario plus Rabbids. I haven't picked it up yet. Moving on to another sequel that I was very excited for, a sequel to my favorite game of 2019, Plague Tale Innocence, and the sequel coming out this week, Plague Tale Requiem. If I move my head to the side, you should be able to see I've got a statue of Emily. I don't know how this works. Doing this live is stupid. Nope, I gotta go away. There we go. Emily is right there. Probably really hard to see. But I got my collector's edition for Plague Tale. That's how much I really like the game. This one kind of continues the storyline of the first one, where you've got Hugo commanding a pack of rats, and you have to kind of get your brother out of medieval France. So I really enjoyed the first one. I have my full gameplay of the first one on my YouTube channel, and so very much looking forward to this one. It's currently at an 83 Metacritic. So happy about that. Anybody who liked the first one, who likes episodic games, hopefully they still keep that kind of chapter by chapter flow for the game, because I really liked it. It also has a little bit of a Last of Us vibe, in that you're running around with Hugo when you have to do puzzles with both Emily and Hugo as you're kind of working your way around. And she gets a crossbow this time, so maybe she's a little bit deadlier. Maybe there's a little bit more quick time events, or sniping that we can do in the game. So definitely looking forward to that. Playing that soon on Xbox. Moving right along, you have a spiritual successor, kind of not exactly a sequel, but spiritual successor, new Tales from the Borderlands. I am a massive fan of Tales from the Borderlands. I typically like all Telltale games, which is why I got into streaming, was to play Telltale games with you guys. And I believe that both my favorite Borderlands game and my favorite Telltale game is Tales from the Borderlands. So some pretty big shoes to fill for this new one. This one being produced by Gearbox and not by Telltale. So it'll be interesting how it kind of rolls out. I'm really excited to play through it. Maybe I'll play through it with my friends in story time, or I'll play through it just on my stream with you guys. It's currently at a 71 Metacritic. It seems like people think the story is a little bit bland. A lot of the harsh criticism for the episodic pacing of the game. I like the episodic. I think putting things into bite-sized chunks that people can review and watch, I think is pretty fun. I like having a good kind of start and stop on chapters of the game. So I think I want more. But that was the Metacritic on it. Those were the reviews. So let me know what you think if you pick it up. What you think of it down below in the comments. And last but not least, as far as sequels are concerned, this one's a little bit of a stretch. Gotham Knights launched today. It moved up 4 days a couple months ago, so Gotham Knights launched. It's currently at a 69 Metacritic. Nice. And the main criticism I was reading in the reviews I read were not as good as the Arkham games, which I think that was kind of to be expected. Yeah, I think that was about, that was about it as far as like the criticisms I read. I didn't read too much of it because I am trying to go in and get my own experience out of it. I will be playing with this with either a friend of mine or my wife. We've all picked up the game, so I'm really looking forward to playing Gotham Knights. I know that Arkham sometimes has very floaty combat, so it'll be interesting how to do that. But everyone in the reviews I also read said that the co-op was great, so I'm really looking forward to. Hopefully, the systems aren't too crazy, and we can get co-op up and running pretty soon. But oh, and as far as it being a sequel, it's not part of the Arkhamverse because it's not a Rocksteady game, but it takes place with a spoiler alert for Arkham Knight with a dead Batman, and like you're playing as the Bat family, continuing it. So it feels a little bit, I mean, definitely like a spiritual successor, but it feels like a continuation of the Arkhamverse. It's just not in the Arkhamverse. And I'm really looking forward to the Court of Owls storyline, something that I've been interested in for quite some time. So if you pick up Gotham Knights, let me know what you think of it down below in the comments. Moving right along, we had 2 horror showcases to talk about this week. Silent Hill Konami did a Silent Hill transmission, which was a pretty cool name for their horror showcase. And they talked all about Silent Hill. They talked about what Bloober's doing. They announced that Bloober was working on something Silent Hill related a couple months ago. And we found out that this week that it was the remake. They're working on a remake for Silent Hill 2, I believe. So really excited for this. I never played. I'm a late comer to the Silent Hill, but or even horror in general. So anything before PT came out, I wasn't really into horror before then. But yeah, really looking forward to Silent Hill. I love Bloober games. Most recently, the Medium was one of my favorite games from a couple years ago, and I really liked it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that remake. They also talked about a Silent Hill movie, which was pretty fun. I like video game movies for the most part. Hopefully, it's a little bit more than just putting Pyramid Head on the screen, which tends to be what you do with all the Silent Hill stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And they talked about a new entry. I saw a couple of the visuals for it, and it looks weird. So I don't know how weird Silent Hill gets. I know that 2 is highly regarded. And that's about all I know about Silent Hill. So, yeah, let me know what you think of the Silent Hill series and the Silent Hill transmission down below. Capcom, I also feel like Konami was getting in because Capcom announced like 2 weeks ago that they were doing their showcase on a specific date. So I'm really curious if Konami already had this planned or they moved up their own plans so they could get in front of Capcom's showcase this week. But we did get a Resident Evil showcase. Talking about all the Resident Evil 4 that you want. There was a lot of Resident Evil 4 shown off at the showcase. And then they also talked about the next and final DLC for Resident Evil Village, which is all focused on the Winters and finally like putting a capstone on the Winters storyline as we have Ethan and his daughter all grown up, kind of whatever they're gonna do in the next DLC. I haven't played any of the Resident Evil Village DLCs, but I might pick up the Winters one because even though I think Ethan is a little bland, I did like Biohazard a lot, and I did like Village a lot. So I'm just kind of curious what they're gonna do with his storyline. But yeah, let me know if there was any other things at the Resident Evil showcase that I should keep my eye on. We gotta pour one out for something I was very excited about, but is since closing. G4 TV is closing down. They were revived after a long hiatus last year, and just about a year later, they have closed. I assume it has something to do with the management. At least all the tweets I've read have led to been talking about Comcast and how they managed the group. I also think there was a little bit of little bit of kind of like miscommunication or just like a mismatch of content type. This, G4 being kind of an older thing, was kind of pre-internet in a lot of their activity, and the modern internet is a lot different for what the content that people are looking for. And so, like, do you revive the old stuff? You're gonna annoy the people who wanted the old stuff, or do you modernize it for a new audience? So I think there was just a little bit of a mismatch there. But I enjoyed a lot of the reviews, and I'm sorry to see that G4 is closing down. I actually had a couple friends working there, so really sad to see that go. Something that really, that really like influenced me in my younger years. So and inspired me to get into the video game industry. So really sad to see that G4 is closing down. Hopefully everyone there lands on their feet, and move on to bigger and better things. But it's a sad day in the games industry when we see G4 closing down, because I think a lot of modern gamers and a lot of people in the industry now are look back on G4 fondly. So congrats for the people who brought it back. You all did great work, and excited to see kind of what comes next from everyone. Moving right along. So speaking of sequels, apparently controllers can get sequels too. No, I'm just kind of continuing the sequel bit, but Sony announced their Pro Controller, their DualSense Pro Controller. I think it's got a new name, Dual Edge or something like that. The Sony PS5 Pro Controller was announced this week. Pre-orders start next week on October 25th. And the release of the controllers is January 26th of 2023, so just a couple months later. So they want to get in those holiday pre-orders while they can. It's $200. It comes with, I assume it looked like, the way the trailer made it look is you'll be able to quickly and easily swap out whatever thumbsticks you want. There'll be back buttons that you can manipulate. There'll be buttons on the front that you can switch between profiles. You can have like a handful of profiles. So I'm curious to see what Sony's balance is to the Xbox Elite controller, which has been, I think, top of the market for quite some time. And now you can customize it. So I'm really interested to see what Sony does. I would love to be able to customize my Sony Pro Controller. I don't think I'm a hard enough gamer to buy a $200 Pro Controller, but I might if I could customize it. But it'd be really interesting to see kind of what Sony's response is to the Xbox Elite controller. So yeah, let me know what you think of it down below, or what your controller would look like if you could customize it. Would love to see that down below. Final Fantasy 16 had a trailer this week, another sequel. I'm not just gonna end this now. I was actually kind of excited for it. It was like a 4-minute trailer. It talked a lot about the world building. It talked about the factions, which I thought was really interesting. I don't typically think of I don't know if there's gonna be like a faction system, or you're just gonna be in different areas and have to deal with different people in Final Fantasy. And it just kind of brought up my naivete with the Final Fantasy series. I've only ever played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I played a little bit of 14, but I don't know what the plot is. So I have a couple questions from a noob to the Final Fantasy series. Is there like an overarching narrative going on? I know that they're sometimes they're fantasy, sometimes they're sci-fi. I'm just kind of curious, is it all in the same world? If it's in the same time period, does it relate to other games? Do I need to have any background knowledge when I pick up Final Fantasy 16, which actually looked really interesting and exciting in this trailer? So I'm pretty excited for it. The whole world kind of had me intrigued. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy 16 next year. I don't know if I need to know stuff before I go in. But the fantasy side of it, I really like. I think I will like the fantasy take on it, because some of the sci-fi stuff was a little bit too much for me, especially with the gameplay. But the big summons and all that kind of stuff look really cool. So I'm excited for Final Fantasy 16. And last but not least, we're starting up our lots of games are starting up their Halloween game modes and different ways that you can play the game. The big one this week that I saw was Overwatch 2's Junkenstein's Revenge, The Bride of Junkenstein or something. I think that was the name of it. And yeah, so get ready to. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 with my friends, so if this is like a PvE mode, I think I would be pretty excited for that. Maybe if it's a PvPvE, if it's like multiplayer, but you also have mobs to fight. That could be interesting too. But I've never played. I've never been playing Overwatch during like a Halloween event, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, and hopefully I can get some friends to play that with me to learn me some Overwatch. That was a lot for this week. Let me know if you think I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye.